This week on Dirt Every Day, we take this boring old soccer mom minivan, put 31-inch tires on it, $10,000 worth of sponsored parts, and turn it into a battle car. Hey Fred, how are we gonna make a minivan cool? Don't worry about it, Dave. My main vehicle is a Ford F-350. It's the coolest thing. I love it. I can drive long distances with it. I can haul things. It's a great family vehicle for me, really. But when it comes to hauling the kid around or getting groceries, it's a bit excessive. I live in a small neighborhood, and the truck is about 1/16 the size of the entire neighborhood. So I've always wanted a golf cart. There's a lot of big streets here, and they don't allow golf carts on all the streets. So I would be stuck trying to drive around back roads and things like that. It just wouldn't be convenient. So my next option was to just buy a fun little beater car. And that's why I bought this. This is a 2005 Nissan Quest. It's got who knows how many miles on it. It's based on the Ultima platform. So it's got similar stylings. So it ends up looking somewhat like somebody smeared the Maxima and made it a little bit taller. It's a fine car. It's got a good motor on it. Supposedly it's 260 horsepower. But ultimately it's still a minivan. And minivans aren't cool. Alright, it's day one and I'm gonna mount one of these tires onto the rim and see if I can jam it into the back wheel well. I'm doing it out of order. So I got the tires mounted to the stock rims and I immediately had a problem. No fender gap. If I planned on having anybody in the car, carrying anything, doing anything whatsoever, it would have smashed on the fender and cut into the tire. So this means I gotta put in some strut spacers and cut the fenders. I was really nervous about the back sticking out too far because then the door wouldn't slide back. But it makes it. Now it's time to make a list of the stuff I gotta do. Today is day 2. I was originally trying to use rubber spring spacers, and I put them in and they just kind of flopped over and only gave me about an inch of lift, which was nowhere near enough. So I went with these steel 3-inch spacers. And what you do with these is you take your spring out and put them in the top or the bottom cup. Now I already had some of those wonky spring compressors on there, so I took those off, and I wasn't able to get these installed without taking one hoop out of my spring. And as you can see here, it's still a super tight fit. I need to mark this just so it doesn't hurt anybody if they try to go in and work on the suspension in the future. I definitely had to compress it to get it in there. Definitely a pucker moment. Look at all this room for activities. It's day 3. Moving towards the front of the car, the tires end up hitting the bottom of the strut. So I'm going to put some wheel spacers on here. That'll bring the whole wheel and rim out about 1.5 inches and give me clearance in front of the strut and the spring. And everything should work out then, but I gotta wait 2 days for them to come in. In the meantime, let's work on the roof rack. I don't know what it is about roof racks, but I put them on all my cars. This one's no different. This is really, really long front to back. So I had to make my own. Let me show you what I did. Since they don't make roof racks this stinking big, I took an existing roof rack and added 2 extensions onto it and just put them together. If you look in the middle, you can see one of them doesn't fit exactly right. It's misaligned. It's just because I couldn't get one that fit in there properly, so that's why I'm grinding and welding to make it fit. It's got to hold about 100 pounds. I want to put the spare tire up there, so that's why I went ahead and welded it. Once I tacked everything in, I went through and hit it with some satin paint. I ended up doing the whole thing, but you don't need to see that. I did that off camera. Things are going well. Hey, it's day 4 and I'm enormously happy. I got myself a new shirt on. I got my wheel spacers in. So now I can put these on, not have any clearance issues with the strut tower anymore, and put my giant tire on. Maybe I can drive this today. I'm gonna use some PB Blaster. This is one of the best ways I know to get rust off of things. Well, I got you here. Lots of people are asking me what this tape is over here. All right, nobody's asking me. I just wanted to tell you. I'm using this tape so I can keep track of what I've done on all 4 corners of the car, because I'm doing it in different stages. I'm trying to jam this into an hour a night. So it's kind of hard to keep track of what's going on everywhere. So over here I have 2 spacers, which I need to remove. And then I'm going to do my new fancy bottom strut lift. Strut bottom lift? Bottom strut lift. I don't know what it's called. I'm just going to do it. You see these? I'm going to take those out. I'm going to put brackets on either side that go down and relocate this top one where this one sits. This whole knuckle goes down. The top one slides into this one right here. And there'll be a bracket that goes all the way down to pick up the bottom bolt. You'll see in a minute. I finally finished the big old list. Let's see what the car looks like. Well, I did it. What do you think? It took about 2 weeks. I put 31-inch tires on a 2005 Nissan Quest, and I think I made it cool. What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down in the comments, usual. I lifted it with a bottom strut lift on the front, and on the back I used some giant 3-inch steel spring spacers. I used plastic dip for the hood. Made a giant roof rack for it. And what else? I don't know, lots of things. I love it. Needs some minor tweaking still. The camber and the toe are both a little bit off in the front and the rear, but I gotta fix that. But it's perfect. It's exactly what I want to take the kid to school, go get groceries, do all the stuff in the neighborhood. So what do you think? Is it a cool minivan? Wait till after the break and I'll show you how I did the Fender Arches here. I just used some basic garden hose. Not sure about the yellow on the fenders. Kind of playing with that still. Might go back to black. Had a hard time getting the back end up in the air high enough. Is there such a thing as a pre-runner minivan? I don't think so. Look right here and see some of my other videos. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Till next week. I wanted to figure out a slick way to cover up the rough cut fenders, so I found this soaker hose at the hardware store. It was only like $5. And what I did was I slid it long ways, nice and straight, filled that thing full of some industrial silicone, and then jammed it back on that awful edge. Used some blue tape temporarily on there, just to keep it in place until it dried. I'm good to go. It looks really cool. It looks, I don't want to say factory, but I'm really happy with how it came out.